So Faizi, welcome to the 12th Indian Film Festival of Ireland 2021, which is being held online and virtual this year. So this year, the theme is all about education. So we will be screening lots of feature films relating to the education system in India. So for starters, how are you doing?
I'm very well, and thank you so much for inviting me here. So I've been a little excited to talk about this whole session and talking about the education and literature. Yeah.
It's our absolute pleasure. And Faizi, you've got a very interesting entrepreneur journey, which is incredibly inspirational to many. You founded Kayaluki Uran, which is a platform for sharing stories. So, how did this idea come about?
In 2017, I was suffering from dengue,
Oh,
and that was the only time in my life where I actually took some rest. Otherwise, I want to travel, I want to do the job, I wanted to do everything in just one day. So at that time, I got some rest, and I reflected that in spite of doing the employee work, I wanted to be on the employer side, and I do have the instincts and do have the qualities of being an entrepreneur, and I can start something of my own rather than working for someone else. So that was the time, and then I started writing. I started with a blog named as Khayalo Ki Udan. So that was just a blog. And then one day I got a request to cite one of the story, and I was the one saying that I'm not a storyteller. And then they said, why don't you give it a try? So there's a story, Hunger, that shows the hunger of people to learn and to do something, to start from the scratch. And then after Hunger, the video was like pretty much, and then I started citing and performing, and then I started increasing the branches. So right now I have four branches of Khayalo Kiran, starting from kids, parenting, and I'm a guest faculty with few of the colleges, and I have my own metaphoric storytelling course.
सो जो मैं कहानी आपको सुनाने जा रही हूँ उसका नाम है द हंगर, भूख। वो बहुत दिल के करीब है मेरे, क्योंकि जब मैं टाइफाइड मुझे चल रहा था, देन आई थॉट ऑफ राइटिंग समथिंग। तो ये उन कैरेक्टर्स की एक जुड़ी हुई कहानी है जिन्होंने एक कन्वेंशनल जॉब एक वक्त पे छोड़ी, क्योंकि उनको लगा कि वो कहीं ना कहीं जो है बहुत कॉम्प्रोमाइज़ कर रहे थे अंदर। सो रूह के साथ जो है आप ये खिलवाड़ नहीं कर सकते। सो उन सब के लिए जिन्होंने कन्वेंशनल चीज़ें छोड़ के जो है एक रिस्क लेने की कोशिश की, और उसकी बैक एंड स्टोरी क्या होती है जो ऊपर से जो है पता नहीं चल पाती है। सो द कैरेक्टर इज़ पाखी। पाखी ने 2015 में जो है एक बहुत नामी ग्रामी एमएनसी, जो जनरली लोगों को लगता है कि दैट इज़ द ड्रीम जॉब, वो छोड़ दी क्योंकि उनको वो पसंद नहीं आ रही थी, और उनको एक मौके पे लगा कि नहीं, दिस इज़ इट, दिस इज़ द टाइम कि मुझे जो है अपने लिए एक स्टैंड लेना पड़ेगा। और 2015 में क्या था कि स्टार्टअप बूम आया था, तो जिसको भी कुछ नया करना था, सो दे वांटेड टू स्टार्ट फ्रॉम स्क्रैच, कि ये स्टार्टअप करेंगे, ये जो है आइडिया हम लाएंगे और उसको जो है हम उरूज पे ले जाएंगे। तो पाखी की एक इंसान से बात हुई, सो उन लोगों ने साथ में एक स्टार्टअप प्लान किया। पर हुआ यूँ कि आपने फैमिली में बता दिया कि आपको जो है ये जॉब छोड़नी है, मुझे एक स्टार्टअप मैंने ज्वाइन किया है, और मम्मा पापा ये बहुत अच्छा आइडिया है, आप ट्रस्ट कीजिए इस बात पे। पर हुआ क्या कि जब इंसान के काम करने के तरीके जो है मैच नहीं करते हैं, भले ही दो लोग बहुत अच्छे होते हैं, पर काम करने के तरीक़ों में जो है क्लैशेस आ जाते हैं। तो 20वें दिन ही जो है पाखी की लड़ाई जो है को फाउंडर से हो गई, और उसने डिसाइड किया कि वो जो है वो जॉब छोड़ेगी।
but Faizi, why the name Kayaluki Uran? Where did the name come from?
Oh, it came from the thought that whatever you want to do, it's a thought, it's an idea, and that idea has to be executed. So it needs a flight. So every idea, every thought needs a flight. So that's the reason it is Khayalo Udan.
Very creative.
Thank you.
Would you say you faced many ups and downs in your journey with Kayaluki Uran?
Yeah, there were many, especially COVID time was very struggling, but we need to find our ways. So earlier it was just I'm traveling and citing in different parts of the country, And then it was all of a sudden it stopped. And I didn't know what shall I do now. Earlier, I was not that quick with Zoom calls or the online sessions because we need to have this personal touch and performance on the stage so that the feeling of performing and connecting to people in person. But yeah, we need to find our ways. So yeah, so I started online. Yeah, so I found the online ways of learning, and then I realized, okay, it's more productive. You save a lot of time, and you can connect more and more people rather than the offline events.
Yeah, I have to say, because of COVID, we learned how to use Zoom, we learned how to use video. It was just a new concept. I mean, pre-COVID, I didn't even know there was something called Zoom in this place. But I think it's just amazing what we can do with whichever situation we're faced with. And I think you're doing such a fantastic job, Faisy. Honestly, there's one question I've got for
Thank
you.
you.
There's always the debate of which one is better, doing the 9 to 5 job or going through the entrepreneur route. Why did you choose the latter?
Yeah, it has a lot of freedom, a lot of mental freedom.
Yeah.
Although I don't have any offs right now, but trust me, I have a lot of freedom to make things happen. Whatever idea I have, I can execute it. There is a possibility I may fall, and I have fallen many times. But yeah, this gives the possibility to rise as well. Yeah, so I think freedom is the main point why I left it, and I started my own.
Yeah. So how many hours a day do you work on average?
My parents are little worried, so I generally work 10 to 12 hours because these are the starting years. My birth, I mean, my, what do you say, brainchild needs that much of time. So in the starting years, every child needs so much of attention of the mother. The same way, my brainchild needs a lot of attention. So I work generally 12 hours per day without any holiday.
Oh, wow. Honestly, I think you've explained it really, really well about how when you're starting something new, something so precious, it's literally like a child and, mother having to take care of it. And I think you're doing just that. Are you able to tell our audience about your typical day? What would be the typical day of Faizi Khan? How do you start off the day and how does it end?
Okay, so it may sound boring to few people, and that's okay. My family and especially my sister says that I am little boring, and in the childhood as well, I didn't have much friends, so it continues from that time. So I'm an early riser. I in the morning I run or my exercise routine, and then I have a book to read in the morning time. So 1 hour morning time reading, and then I do a little bit of research what is going on in the market and what new product I can introduce when it comes to arts and literature. What new workshops can I introduce, and then I work on those ideas. And then the second half goes to approaching people that where I can pitch in my ideas or directing my team that okay, you need to contact these kind of people. We need to find and work on this kind of audience. So yeah, so it is generally three parts: my morning, my first half of the working, and my second half. And in the evening, it again goes to roaming around or walking or running 8 to 10 kilometers daily.
That I think was a really good routine you have in place actually. Very productive and you really utilize your hours, I have to say. I actually am someone myself, I have to admit, I'm someone myself who sticks with a diary and routine as well. So I know I totally get you there, girl. Don't worry. But what would you say is the most challenging part of founding a new startup?
I think the starting time, especially when this is in the direction of arts and literature, people are not willing to pay.
Mm.
So if any startup is about some different fields, people think, yeah, this is the real work. We are in for paying. But if you say I'm a writer and a storyteller, and these are the things, and then they say, okay, come perform at our place. And then you ask about their budget, and they say, we don't have the budget for this. We'll take care of your food, accommodation, travel, but yeah, we don't have the budget for it. And the budget can be there, but they're not willing. And when they don't provide the travel thing, they just have to get the performance, and still they think, okay, artists can perform for free. So the art doesn't have the value yet that it is supposed to have. So I faced it a lot of time. People expect everything for free, and at the end of the day, they need to realize that there are no free lunches in the world. Everything comes with a price. Nothing is free.
Yeah, I think it's a sad point that you've raised. It's similar in the UK as well. A lot of aspiring artists, especially, they often struggle to find the work that they want because people say, "Oh, exposure. Oh, we're giving you this is exposure for you. That should pay your bills." It pretty much acts like, come here, work for free. You're getting the promotion, but it's quite sad, and I think art really needs to be recognized a bit more because especially with the pandemic, we'll realize how much we miss that part, how much we miss art as well. Hopefully, we can just hope for things to be better. What, in your opinion, what do you think can be done to promote art more?
I think things are picking up, and we are the generation that we can make a change. Before you could simply see some years ago, maybe just say 10 years ago, artists were bound to do another parallel job just to make a living.
Yeah.
Because it is very hard to just run the whole living on your artwork. They had to do a parallel job, and they found it really hard to convert your art into passion, and then passion into the financial independence. And in 10 years, we have really came a long way.
Yeah.
Earlier, we were the people who thought, no, the art is nice, I love it, but asking money for it, this will be something. No, 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 I won't ask money for my art. So this has changed. So we have come a long way, and still a long way to go,
Yeah.
especially the entrepreneurs or the startups who focus on art and literature.
Absolutely. And as a founder of Khayal Ki Uran, what is the most useful skill that you've acquired so far? Something you didn't know you had until Khayal Ki Uran took birth.
Okay. I mean, there's so many things, but when it comes to one, I realize that I started writing that I focus a lot on people's conversation, and I take out my things from the conversation and then build something. For example, I met someone while I was hiking in Maharashtra, and he talked about, hey, have you heard about the concept of Joseph Campbell, the hero's journey? I was like, oh, this sounds interesting. And then before getting into the flight, I downloaded the audiobook. I listened to the whole concept. I researched on it. And after 1 month, I was doing this collaboration with few of the hotels and the resorts and the farmhouses where people can rejuvenate and can write about their life's hero's journey. What were the 12 stages they had? Where did they fall, and where did they fall, and where did they rise? So yeah, so taking something from the conversation, researching on it, and then execution. So I think this is something I like what Khayal Ki Uran gave it to me.
That's really creative and impressive as well. Wow. I think life is literally like a learning process. We're always learning something. And sometimes we have that hidden talent, but we need that opportunity or something to release that talent. I'm amazed, honestly. As this year's theme is all about education, how was your school life, Daisy? Are you able to tell us a bit about that, please?
Okay, so my schooling time. Okay, so I was my schooling till 10th class. It was done in Chandpur, where I originally belonged to, and my father used to guide me. So I've heard a lot of stories about Akbar and Booker T. Washington and Edison. So all these hardworking stories. So that had good impact on me, and especially Macbeth, because I had a lot of habit of washing my hands and feet many times. So my father was the one who said, this seems to be some Lady Macbeth syndrome. I was like, oh. So that time I didn't know OCD. I was like, okay, this is Macbeth syndrome. And then later on, I went to do international school for boarding school for my later schooling. Then Jaipur graduation and post graduation, and then I did my job in Gurgaon. And then after 6 years of different jobs, I started my own venture.
That's really impressive. Amazing. Wow. But you've done so much in life, that you're at such a young age. Generally, what keeps you so motivated in life?
I believe meeting new people and talking to them, knowing their perspective, and celebrating life in my own way. I celebrate life a lot, and this is what I think it is my mission of life as well. Celebrate my life and support people in celebrating their life. So I run, I travel, I meet new people. So most of the time I'm busy talking, roaming, traveling. Yeah, because I can roam anywhere with my laptop nowadays. So every day can be a travel.
Everything is literally at our fingertips these days, isn't it? But in your opinion, what is the key to success in life?
I believe the kind of people you meet, the kind of hard work you put in, and in the correct direction, and support. And right now, it's also the marketing. So it also goes to your idea, then it is how you build up, and then the execution part. These three things really matter a lot nowadays. I know hard work. I really believe in hard work, but also it needs some good execution. So we need to find a way in between. There are times artists really, really work hard and we fail because we don't sometimes get the visibility or we don't get the proper support. So the execution hold the same percentage as much as we put in the actual hard work.
Absolutely. My last question for you, Faizi. What message or tips would you like to give to someone who is considering going through the entrepreneur path, particularly to women?
I believe just first of all they need to find what is actual their interest. Then they could actually explore to the extent that they could take a stand. So that one thing or their two or three passions, and then the other thing that are they really sure to take the execution plan and then connect it to their ikigai. So the purpose thing.
Yeah.
So something that they're really, really interested in, that like they really love, and then the execution part.
Great. Yeah.
And like whatever you do, it does have the financials along with that. So yeah.
I think that's a really great piece of advice. Actually, I do have one more question, if I can ask.
Sure.
What's your plans for the future? What's next?
I want to expand it to different countries in different forms. Yeah. So I'm extending few branches. Sometimes it will be collaborations with the travel and tourism. Sometimes it will be with the different kind of education, because if education, the storytelling part is taught to the business students, to the art students in a different way, it will really, really create some revolution in the society.
Yeah. I think that would be great. We really do wish all of your dreams come true, because you're giving so many people, the support as well, and you're helping and it's just really inspiring what you do as well. And I just really hope whatever you've planned for the future as well, they will work perfectly well in your favor. So from myself and everyone at the Film Festival of Ireland, we wish you all the very best. Thank you so much for taking out the time to speak with us today.
Thank you so much, and thank you for your time. And I loved your work when I went through your LinkedIn profile. It was beautiful. You are really, really incredible with your work.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you so much.